NotSchool is a project which began in 2000 at the behest of the Department for Education at the time, and it was about engaging young people who were not in any formal education at all. And the philosophy was quite simple: if you couldn't get the child to the learning, you took the learning to the child. And it so happened that technological solutions made that a particularly easy thing to do. And we then had to develop a methodology of engaging the disengaged and the hard to reach, and to get them back into learning and society.
So NotSchool is different because it isn't a community of young people who log on and access worksheets and download them and take them away and then load them up again and send. It is a community of people who just happen to be online. It's a social network of young people and adults who are all working together to further their learning. It is a very personalised approach, and it builds on a young person's interests as a hook to bring them into learning, to get them doing work with a mentor on a daily basis, which is then mapped across to the curriculum, mapped against learning outcomes and learning criteria. So for that young person, it is a way of building their confidence and showing them that they are good at something, that they can achieve, that they are able to achieve something of magnitude.
There's no doubt that technology has changed the face of education. I'm not always convinced it's changing in the way that we want to go. It's a tool, it's useful, but I worry often about technology for technology's sake. So my perception of a kind of school in the future really is one that doesn't have wall-to-wall technology, because the truth of the matter is, with 100% plus use of mobile penetration with mobile phones in the UK and expanding throughout the world, the devices that we'll be using for learning are much more widespread and personal. So we're much more looking at a personalised approach where you carry your own device, and we won't need to paper the walls of schools with technology that perhaps is underused, undervalued, not well used, not used in a good way all the time for learning. So we'll be using much more specialised devices and so forth. I think a lot of the work we do is actually about that personalised approach and how we can use innovative technological devices to actually take learning forward. And it's learning for me. It's not informal or formal. It's actually all about learning and where you're moving to in our current world, in our 21st century society. Certainly the idea of a school where people go at the same time every day for 3 months of the year is outmoded and it's not sustainable. We ran out of renewable resources in something like October 2007. We won't have the oil for people to go there. We won't be able to transport them. We won't have the raw materials for building them. We certainly won't be able to keep buildings empty or highly trained teachers used for crowd control, etc. So that whole thinking has to change, and it will change, and it will reflect much more that the way we use, I think, work, the way we work across country, across boundaries, across economies, and it isn't about going there anymore. I mean, the phone hardly rings in our office. It's about Skype, it's about innovation, it's about the wikis, it's about the kinds of things we can use that are free, and to develop business learning, all of those kinds of things. We almost have a school culture that's kind of stuck somewhere in the 50s, maybe the 60s, and we might have bought a new toys, but it doesn't change the fabric and the way of thinking, and that's got to change.